Hey everyone, today we're going to go over a Windrunner Spire. It was a 19 that I completed earlier this week. I'm doing this review sort of for myself to see where I can improve going forward into 20s, but I'm also going to sort of talk about how I go about healing the key and what I do for specific packs. So let's go ahead and start the key. So it looks like we're running a monk, a shadow priest, I believe a survival hunter, an unholy DK, and myself as the Resto Druid. So as you go into this first pack, what I like to do is start hotting your team up ahead of time. You can see I procced my Soul of the Forest and gave out 3 empowered rejuvenations, following up that with some germination. When the first salvo comes out, I'm probably going to want to convoke, which looks like I heal through it natty. Okay, I convoke a little bit late. I was in comms with this group, and we did talk about having the priest mass dispel a set of dots. But I think going forward, I want to just go ahead and convoke to make sure that everyone stays topped up. That got a little spicy. Okay, first blue thing is coming out, so we move out of that. Dispel on cooldown, keep everyone hotted up. Probably gonna trank the next salvo, great. For the next salvo, I don't know if I'm going to have anything in terms of cooldowns, so I think a potion, I think a Light's Potential Potion may be a play. Okay, so we just kind of heal it natty. Convoke's coming up, but I don't think we're going to have anything. Looks like everything's dead, so that's good. I try to get myself in a position where I catch up with mana. And we're going into the next pull. So this is going to be a steward, so we have 2 dispels that we have to worry about. Try and get that out insta. And I think the plan is kill the steward and pull it into the dragon hawk. So I'm trying to do my best to get out some damage. Alright, let's go ahead and get rid of the dot. When I'm given the option to dispel anyone and one of them is the DK, I always go for the opposite, just because DKs are so tanky. That's why I picked the hunter there. Just keeping some bleeds up on the steward. Yeah, I do talk about in my videos how I'm always trying to get DPS out because it seems to be, you know, when I look at my parses, I'm doing about half the amount of damage as other druids. The territorial dragonhawk gets pulled. I like to try and control this mob on my own, so I do go for the in-cap on the first tick of the fire spit. Dispel as they come out, heal the team, keep rejuves on, and then I'm going to drop a Ursula's Vortex and get ready to push the next fire spit. So there we go. If it's still alive for another one, I'm going to have in-cap roar backup, and if it does come to a 4th one, I could always Shadow Meld Rake, but I tend to not to like to do that. I like to save my Shadow Meld for drinking and dodging casts and stuff like that. I'm rotating my Life Bloom around quite a lot to help with spot healing, just with all of the dots that come out. I like to normally keep it on the tank, however I think you'll see me swap it to the Hunter, the Shadow Priest, or myself quite a bit in this dungeon, just to sort of help catch up on the healing and trying to not fall behind. Okay, poisons are coming out, dispelling them as they come, throw out some rakes as I'm able. No real heavy healing or crowd control needed on these packs. Cool. See if I try and sip. I don't. I should try and Swiftmend the tank coming out here, which he runs out. Okay, yeah, I do sit down to drink. It looks like the Shadow Priest has a hatchling and is a little... she's got aggro up top, so I do burn my Nature Swiftness on that, but that's alright. Okay. Here I'm saving my Dispel for the magic dot, not the poisons. Looks like we got a green button and an Iron Bark on the Hunter, so he's feeling really safe. Okay, I have Trank if I need it. I don't think I will. Steward's just about dead. We probably get another set of dots out, though. Okay, cool. Oh, I wonder how that happened. That must have been a mass dispel. Okay, no pounce on me. If you do get targeted by the pounce, you can bear form and frenzied regen it, and it really helps mitigate the damage on you, so that way you can save your Swiftmend and stuff like that for other prio targets. Cool, that pack's done. I'm trying to run ahead a little bit to get myself in a good position to drink, but I think I ruined that by hitting, I don't know, yep, instant in combat. So I wish I had that back, but that's alright. Let's see if we're gonna pull the lashings into the bloated lasher. We do. So I don't know how the group planned on crowd controlling the lashlings during this. But prior to Spore Dispersal, you really want to do your best to ramp up and then start casting those regrowths. If you feel like you're gonna fall behind, just send your Convoke early. There's no problem in doing that. You have quite a bit of time before the boss and before you even need to use any throughput cooldowns. Okay, refresh your hots. Keep everything going. Another Spore Dispersal coming out. If you have it available, this is a great time to send your bark skin, and your iron bark as well. A lot of times I try and have set places where I want to use my iron bark on either tanks or DPS, but in this run I think I kind of just sent it based on how I was feeling at the time. Oh man, I must be thirsty. Yeah, no drink for me. Alright, we have the next set of Dragonhawks. So the first set's coming out. Did I waste my incap? Yeah, I might have done that a little bit late. So I try to incap that, and then I try to push the second. So the Vortex is coming down. And here comes the push. And on me, do I Shadow Meld? Ooh, I do, good. Perfect time for me to Shadow Meld and drink. That worked out really well. Otherwise, I would have been starting the RP. Yeah, looks like I go after I get my mana. Get the RP started, come back up to make sure there's no more spits. And we're pulling Emberdawn. So going into this fight, I'll try and swap my Life Bloom to a target that's getting the Flaming Updraft. What I like to do is I'll put it on a DPS ahead of the cast, regrowth someone, and then that means 2 out of the 4 potential targets will have regrowth coverage. Okay. For the first Burning Gale phase, I'll just go ahead and send a Convoke. It should be up a couple seconds into the next one, so I should be able to use it on the next one as well. That means on the third one, I'll have to rely on Tranquility and my potion. Always remember that you have the combination of Swift Mend, Nature Swiftness, and Regrowth to have a big spot heal on 3 targets. Okay. So going into the Flaming Updraft, I swap my Life Bloom on the Shadow Priest, regrowth the Death Knight, and good. Another thing that's worth mentioning is I try to save my Swift Mend for this phase. You really get a lot of potent healing out of your Swift Mend and your Apex talents, and it's a good way to top people up. So right here, using my Apex proc, and then going straight into a Convoke, and that should cover me for the rest of the phase. I'll spot heal with a Swift Mend here, probably, into an Apex Rejuve. Perfect. Okay. In between all of this, I try to find time to swap up and do some dots, but don't always have the ability to do that. So it's on me, I have my Life Bloom on myself, that's good. Cool. So I don't have Convoke available for the next Burning Gale, so this is probably going to be either a potion or a trank. Either are a good option. I do have my Bark Skin available, so I might just do it natty and use the Nature Swiftness. Yeah, leaning on that Nature Swiftness regrowth was a good plan. That's a little dangerous. The Death Knight didn't tick down. It looks like he had a tornado, so I don't think that one's on me. Okay, swap the Life Bloom, hit the regrowth. Frenzied regen. Pretty easy. And the boss is just about dead. A little worried about the hunter. We didn't have great coordination in range as to where people were running, but defensives were used, so that's a plus. I'm always trying to drink. I feel like I'm a little bit behind on mana just because my Shadow Melts didn't work this run, which, you know, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I feel like I rely too heavily on having a full mana bar as sort of like a comfort blanket. You know, I'm fine. I'll be fine. Going into the next pull, it's going to be a steward into all of the poison guys, so get the tank hotted up, probably hit him with a Swift Mend. Perfect. Dispel 1. Do I send my Ironbark? Ironbark may have been a good play there. So I'm going to keep that in mind going into like 20s if I get into any. Cool. Steward is down, so I think we're probably going to start moving. I'm trying to throw out my Heart of the Wild. I need to be a little bit better about using that on a prio target rather than just sending it. I mean, it's better to send it than to not hit the button at all, but maybe a little bit more thought into it would be good. Cool. There's not a lot of damage going out here. There's a little bit of I say that looks like the Death Knight hit the environmental kill, so it wasn't. I don't think that was on me. You just gotta watch your feet, heal the tank, and spot heal the people that get jumped on. But outside of that, there's nothing that's wildly lethal. Kind of a easy pack to reset. Just watch your feet. And getting some dots out as I can. It's good to see. One thing that you can do is you can drop your Ursul's Vortex to sort of suck back in the guys that jump out onto the ranged, just to help with melee uptime. It doesn't cancel the cast or negate the damage, unfortunately. Alright, going into the Devoted Woebringer, I want to bark a little bit early and go straight into a Convoke. Great. Start spamming those regrows. Looks like they burned down the shield and did the kick already. So here's just kind of a watch your feet. I really hate this pull because it's inconsistent as to where the tanks want to fight. Some people fight in here, some people fight on the little stairwell platform. And it makes it a little bit difficult into choosing where you want anytime you have a doorway, just because of line of sight issues. Poison Blades is coming out. My Ursul's has already been used. I do have an Incav if I need to use it, but I don't think I really need to. I don't think I'm going to need to send it. So one thing that's worth mentioning is, in encounters like this, it's nice to send your keep your Swiftman on cooldown and send your Soul of the Forest on rejuice to help you keep your rejuice stacks pretty high, your abundance stacks. So we drop down, and it looks like this is a lust pull for the Behemoth. I wonder if I pre-swap my Life Bloom. Okay, so let's see what I do. Yep, I swap it over to the Priest. I'm gonna Bark Skin myself. I'm feeling pretty comfortable with that coverage. I'll have Ironbark for the next one. If it goes on me, I bet you I send it, unless it's like a me and the DK combo, in which case I'll just Life Bloom myself, but let's see how it goes. Cool, goes on the Priest, give it to the Priest, and I'm, yep, Ironbarking myself, good. I've never really stopped to think about that mechanic to see if it's something along the lines of like it targets the two furthest people, but oh, I was not prepared for the that shriek. So we popped the Convoke. Cool, we didn't have Bark Skin, but we're okay. It doesn't hurt that bad. Get our coverage. This is another wash my feet. Oh, I go for the Shadow Meld drink there and it does not work. aside from the Shriek, there's just a little bit of moderate spot healing that goes off. Oh, that was another environmental death, so I don't know that that was on me. Send the battle res. And I send a Trank there. I don't think I know that I didn't want to send the Trank being this close to the boss, but I knew that with the DPS coming up, it would be a little bit, like I wanted to have a strong pulsing heal to help kind of stabilize them to make sure that they didn't die right away, rather than spend the extra globals. Okay, I'm trying to spam for a drink. Alright, good. I should be good for the boss fight. Going into the boss, let's see how we're going to manage it. I think we're going to do probably a ramp into a Convoke for the first one. Probably a potion for the second one. Or just use defensive, so we'll see. Let's see how we do. Okay, I just heal it through the Apex. People use the defensives, and I'm not feeling too stressed out. The health bars didn't move, so I didn't have to reach for the Convoke. That's pretty good. Decurse myself. Normally what I do here is I will push and then drop a Vortex, and that'll make anyone that gets that safe. So he's gonna get zipped up right there. Yep, great. Start doing some rejuves. I need to refresh my life bloom, and we go into a Convoke. And then we have the big Shriek coming out. Finding a little bit of time to add some dots, but not a ton. DPS is kind of abysmal right here. Okay. My rejuves are looking like they're gonna fall off, so the group's a little bit vulnerable right now, so I wonder what I'm gonna do. So if you notice, one of the things that I do is I will Swift Mend either right immediately after or right before the big damage comes out, and use the AoE healing from my Soul of the Forest to help stabilize the group. Hunter traps the dark entity that spawns, so I don't need to worry about decursing. And here I have Nature Swiftness, Regrowth if I want. Again, that's a really big combo. Do Swiftmend, Nature Swiftness, Regrowth, and you can use it as a separate cooldown. So if you have the ability to desync your Convoke and your Nature Swiftness, I would say it's worth doing. Probably add some more hots, or add some more dots onto the boss, yeah. I need to get my Heart of the Wild on cooldown. But we have a ramp going in here, Regrowth, Swiftmend, rejuve myself. It's getting a little scary with range right now. Okay, we have Trank coming off cooldown, and then we have Convoke for the next one. So we're in a really good in a really good place with our cooldown management. And we're pre-ramping Swiftman. The Priest is a little far for my Apex, so yeah, it looks like I go ahead and Trank just to make myself feel a little bit better. The dot was coming off, so I probably didn't need to do that, but, you know, better safe than sorry, I guess. I'm gonna have Convoke for the next one, and that should be the last round. Barkskin's also coming up. You kind of have to play it by ear, but if you have the ability to send a throughput cooldown without using your defensive, you can try that, but just see how it feels at the moment. But overall, that was a pretty good boss run. I need a drink again. Yeah. So this next pull can be a little bit tricky. It all depends on how the tank pulls the birds, and like how they pull the birds determines when the screeches come out relative to each other, which can make it easier or harder to heal. We'll have to see what happens, but I believe he pulled them in a pretty good like stagger. So yeah, we got one screech coming, and I've got plenty of time to heal up the group before the next one. Cool, and we have the next one coming. Cool. Everyone's got plenty of hot coverage, so there was no real urgency there. So right now I'm just trying to focus on the tank. You know, this is a pack where I wish I could get in and get more bleeds going on, but right now I'm just kind of focusing on making sure that no one dies. I'm probably overhealing this encounter quite a bit. First Screech, go ahead into the Convoke, everyone's topped up. I can probably heal the next Screech just using a Apex proc if I had one. Okay, everyone looks like they're in good shape. Don't sleep on how much healing your Frenzied Regen will do. It's a very strong cooldown. It's only on a 30-second cooldown for you too, so it's up more frequently than you would expect. That was a waste of Heart of the Wild. That guy was almost dead. He didn't even get the full bleed off, so that was bad play. Probably should have targeted the Marauder. Yeah, I could have stunned the Marauder, but I go ahead and shout it, which is fine. The Marauders can be interrupted with your shout, a stun, or your Typhoon. That'll get them both out of the spin. I didn't Typhoon there just because I was scared of blowing it into anything like along the way. Tank was feeling a little bit vulnerable, so I sent Ironbark with him. Or on him, rather. He did have his Fort Brew running, so there was some overlap, but I think that's okay. It's what it felt like he needed to survive the encounter. I don't know whether or not that's true, but it's just kind of what it felt like. Here comes the Flame Nova, so we gotta bark it and then Convoke to help heal people up afterwards. The Flame Nova into Convoke it's not as important in this encounter because there's no bleeds that are on the group, but for the other ones, if you have it available, going into a throughput cooldown, it can be really helpful. Here comes the next one. I don't have any defensives, so go ahead and bear about it. And we use that Swiftmen Nature Swiftness Regrowth for the triple regrowth to heal the group up, and we're in a pretty good spot. Bloodlust comes out, you want to soothe it off. I don't know who the best target to soothe is. I always send it on the Mystic, but in hindsight, I bet you it's probably not a bad idea to send it on one of the Axe Throwers. That's something I'll have to sort out on my own. Yeah, that was me not doing what I just told you about. I didn't send that Tranquility nearly early enough on this pack, and this pack's real dangerous. So I'll be better about that next time. So that's a good learning point for myself. Okay, and the caster's dead, so now all we have to do is worry about the bleeds on people. We're looking pretty good on mana, and we're going to go into the next pack pretty well suited to do an okay job. Okay, sit down and drink, we're good. Just get as many sips as you can. Swiftmend into a rejuve, probably, yeah. Get those empowered rejuves going. Start healing people up. This is going to be a little bit scary. Gotta top people up before the Fire Nova. Here comes the Flame Nova. Go ahead and bark. I sent my Iron Bark on the Priest because I was a little bit scared. I overhealed that. I did not need to prep that much healing, especially with 2 defensives out. But you know what? I probably would have done it the same way again, thinking about it. So like, I don't think I would have... I probably should change things about it, but I don't know that I'm going to have the discipline to not do that. And we have time to drink before the boss. I did let the group know that I was planning on soaking every leap. Every first leap was going to be on me. So the team was sort of already aware of that fact, and that explains my positioning as to where it is. So going into this boss as a Resto Druid, you stand out of the way, pre-hot yourself with your Life Bloom plus your 2 rejuves, and you can go ahead and bear form. I was a little surprised that the Hunter got the leap and not the tank or the Death Knight. So I let him tick down a lot lower than I should have because I admittedly was not looking at the frames as to who got the bleed. I just assumed it was going to be the tank. So far, at least in keys up to a 19, the tanks shouldn't need too much babysitting for the sort of tank buster phase. Like, they should be able to manage it on their own. I was watching for it this time. I saw that it went on the Shadow Priest. I convoked there. I really wish I had that for the intermission, but I just wanted to make sure that the priest didn't die. I had other tools available. I really could have used my nature swiftness, and that would have been the better play. Bear form, the rallying bellow, and I've got my bark skin for the fire nova. Ooh. I should have nature swiftness to that hunter like minutes ago. So that was bad on my part. I don't know why I didn't want to do that. I must have thought I had more time than I did, but cool. Phase is over. We go back in. I'm probably gonna put my life bloom on the tank. No, I just let him eat it. I need to get myself in the position. Yeah. Bear form, frenzied regen. So I saw that it was going on the DK now. Swap my life bloom to him. He probably didn't need the life bloom. I could have kept it on myself, but it worked out okay. Alright, get some hots out on the tank. See how I'm holding on to my Soul of the Forest proc right there? I'm just waiting to use it for healing when I needed it. And now it's up again in 2 seconds. I can swift mend if I wanted to, which I didn't. Okay. Yep, there we go. And I'm holding it for the rally. Yeah, you'll notice that if there's light to moderate damage, I'll always send my Soul of the Forest onto Rejuvenation, and it really helps maintaining your rejuve stacks, your abundance. It's going to be even more important on the next patch cycle when we have to maintain 5 rejuves at all times. Bear form, frenzied regen, piece of cake. Swap. Let's see, do I swap the life bloom? No, I don't. Cool. I'm just letting my hots do their thing. Give him a regrowth here or there, and he's good to go. This boss really is just rinse and repeat once you get the hang of it. And if you have a tank that takes all of the leaps, the second leaps, it makes it even that much easier. If you feel like you get caught out with the fear mechanic, don't panic. You have a lot more time than you think once they clear, and you have 2 movement abilities in your Stampeding Roar and your Tiger's Dash or whatever it's called. So try to use one of those rather than risk going into the swirlies. So we go boss to boss. This is another boss where my DPS is just absolutely abysmal. I'm keeping an eye on my Heart of the Wild because I want to make sure to put that on cooldown whenever I can. Pre-hot in the group, trying to catch a drain to get as much mana as I can before the encounter starts, get some bleeds out, and then it's going to go into rejuve, sort of blanketing. Looks like I used my nature swiftness regrowth on that to top everybody up. I need to get more rejuves out right now. I do not have a lot. So this is kind of bad. Probably gonna Swiftman rejuve into a Convoke, I bet. I haven't put too much thought into what my cooldown rotation looks like on this fight and what's optimal, but I do like to send Convoke on the sort of first arrow when you or first feather where you have to jump up and over. So now we get the second set of dots. Clear my dot, get into the puddles, clear the puddles, we're good. I get the frontal. Let's see if I double defensive. Yeah, this is probably overkill, but I went ahead and bark skin and frenzied regened it, and that takes care of everything. And I can imagine that would probably be the play on the hierarchy as well. Cool, so we're going to the next jump phase, and I do have Convoke. Do I use it? I do. Let's see, do I? Oh, no, I don't. Alright, good job. That would have been a waste, so I'm happy that I had the discipline in the moment not to use it. Next set of arrows come out. I want to find a good one to pop that's next to another puddle. Let's see, do I look around? Yeah, I just grabbed this one right here. Move to clear some space. And we're good. I have Convoke available and Pot and Trank, so I'm in a really good spot for throughput if I need to. DK gets the mechanic. I swap my Life Bloom over to him. Looks pretty good. I'm feeling like I want to add some DPS, but I'm too scared to get into melee, so I Wrath. That's a first. I mean, at least I'm trying, right? Alright, go ahead and Convoke the jump. Oh, okay, cool. So it looks like the priest got stunned, so I sent my Iron Bark. I don't know if I needed to send my Iron Bark with Dispersion up. I don't think I had the reaction time to do one or the other. It looked like Dispersion went out first, so I could have had a bit more restraint. I don't play with Shadow Priests too often, so I'm unfamiliar with like how their defenses work and stuff like that. But that was the key. That's how I go about healing Windrunner Spire. I think I played fairly well in this key. Things that I always mention that I want to work on are, you know, as always, I want to work on trying to get out more DPS. I can see here on the meter, overall damage is 8.9k, which is pretty miserable. I think on average keys, like most high-level Resto Druids are doing something along the lines of 18k, so, you know, I really need to find time to get those bleeds out. I still frequently overheal because I would rather someone not die on accident. And there's many times where, you know, people are fine for days, but I heal them up anyway. So I have to get better about doing that. I don't think I hit my Heart of the Wild nearly enough this round. I had been doing it, you know, I'd been using it on cooldown oftentimes. I think I was just nervous to get into Cat for a 19. Things that I think I did well on, I think I had good uses of Convoke, Trank, and Potion. I've noticed that getting into high keys, or higher keys, that finding spots to use your Potion and not being so reluctant to use them is really beneficial. It's really good to bridge the gap. I will say in prior videos, I was running a higher haste build. Right now I'm running more mastery than haste. So the Potion of Recklessness I find gets less value now because it bumps me up to something along the lines of 75% mastery, which sounds great, but there's a large amount of diminishing returns that goes into that, whereas haste was more of a flat benefit. And I think if you look at the scaling curves, it's actually more exponential. Yeah, other than that, I was a little bit slow on my CC for the Dragonhawks. There was a lot of ticks that went out, like that may have been lethal, so trying to be more aware of that at the moment. But yeah, overall, you know, I did pretty well. I think most of the deaths were unavoidable on my end. We did pretty good on the timer. Yeah, so that's the key. I hope you guys get something out of that. I know I did. I think this will really help me tighten up my game for when I go into 20s, especially for the first pull, kind of strategizing that out, as well as when to send a little bit more Iron Bark. But cool. If you like that, feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.